Good morning. I'm so glad you all are here. Today we are going to be working on some good stretching, and we're going to be utilizing a band actually. So if you have a band handy, please go get it. If you don't have a band, that's okay. You could grab a beach towel. You can use a jump rope if you maybe have a jump rope laying around, because all cool kids have jump ropes laying around, just saying. Then the purpose of the stretching today is your muscles, as they get used or not used, they become tight. And oh, hello, here's my Gracie. Okay, I'm teaching class. Can you go say hi to your sisters, please? And shut the door for them. Okay. That's my youngest. Her name's Gracie. Okay, I'm teaching class. So if you can think of your muscles as a rubber band, and this is we could use your resistance band as an idea for a rubber band. So your muscles should stretch and flex, extend and flex much like a rubber band. However, if the muscle gets tight from not stretching, from overuse, from improper movement because of an injury, then instead of being able to stretch, it gets stuck and it doesn't move in the way it's supposed to. And if it gets stuck long enough, when you try to stretch it or you overuse it or you overextend it in some way, it could pull on that tendon and cause a lot of pain. It could do a little tear in the muscle, and that is painful, and we don't want that to happen. The other thing is, if your muscles are supposed to be stretchy like this and they only go to this range of motion, what happens is there's a lot of inhibition. So for example, if your hamstrings are chronically tight because you sit. So your hamstrings are supposed to be this long. When you sit, they become shortened. And so if you're sitting for hours and hours and hours, either driving, at work, watching TV, all of the above, and you start to go for a run, well, okay, yeah, it'll tear. So, but the other thing I was going to say is, not tear, but you could get really sore, or it'll pull on your lower back. You have lower back pain. The other thing I was going to say is, if you're always tight, and I'm just using the hamstring as an example, eventually it causes so much tightness that you're going to round in that lower back, and you're going to start walking funny, and it makes it harder to walk straight. You could catch your toe on something and you end up tripping or falling, and that's what we don't want to happen. So that's why stretching is super important. And I know that sometimes I have clients, they're like, well, it's not fun. I know it's not fun. I don't feel like I'm getting any workout, any benefit. I promise you are. So that's why we're doing a workout today all about stretching. The reason I want to use your bands is because a lot of times people who don't stretch well and they try to stretch their quad, they can't even get their leg up there, or it causes a hamstring Charlie horse, and then you're like, well, it hurts, I'm not going to stretch. So by utilizing a band, it helps you extend your arms so that you can stretch without causing pain in your hamstring. Or if we're trying to stretch the hamstrings, you're not straining your neck trying to reach your ankle or anything like that. So that's why I'm utilizing the band today. It's just another tool. You don't have to stretch with a band. It just makes it a lot easier on you. All right. So you guys ready to get started? Great. Good answer. Yes. I like seeing all these shaking hands and thumbs up. Okay. So we're actually going to be spending most of the time on the floor today. However, I want to just do this really fast. And you can do it from a kneeling position, a seated position. But if you have had any shoulder surgeries or your shoulders are extremely tight, I want you to be aware of what's happening with this stretch. So I'm going to actually turn this sideways so you can see a little bit better. But what you're going to do is, I'll leave it up to you. The wider your arms are, the easier it is, but the motion that you're going to do is just come around, tap your back, come around. Now, if you are like, ow, that hurts, stop, don't do it. If it hurts, don't do it, okay? I'm not a physical therapist, but it's really good shoulder mobility. So if you can grab closer and do the same motion, even better. Because what you're actually trying to feel here, yes, it's great for shoulder mobility, but what you'll notice is you're going around, you might feel some tightness when you hit right about here. And you're not trying to pull the band apart. You're not doing that. You're just letting your arms go through the motion, but you might feel tightness. If you're like, oh, yeah, I feel something right there. If it doesn't hurt, let it hang out for a little bit. Just hang there and get a nice stretch, because especially in your pecs, you probably feel a nice stretch through your pecs. The rounded shoulders are because your pecs are too tight. So if you don't want that widow's peak as we get older, if you don't want neck pain as you get older, because what happens when you round those shoulders, your head protrudes. So by doing this stretch, it'll help keep those shoulders pulled back, and it'll also help with that neck, all right? So you'll just want to do about 10 of these. You're probably already there, but enjoy that stretch where it is, all right? So if you feel something, or you might feel bicep tightness, great, you're stretching. Cool. Okay, so now that we've gotten our arms limbered up a little bit, because we will be utilizing them with the stretching, I'm going to move this down here, and we're going to go to the floor, and we're going to start just working our way up the body. So on your back, with your band handy. And what I want you to do before you do anything with the band, I just want you to reach your hands straight over your head, extend through your body, pretend like you're, not to be weird, but on a big stretch, like you're being pulled apart by your hands and your feet, so you get a really good stretch through your core, really good stretch maybe through your obliques or maybe your shoulders. And just reach and take a nice deep breath in. It should feel good. And then exhale and relax. Okay, so we're going to start with those hamstrings. If you need, we're going to start with your right leg. If you need to bend your left leg because it causes pain in your lower back, please do. If you can do it with a straight leg, even better. So what you're going to do is just place that band around the middle of your foot. And then you're going to bring that leg, trying to get your knee as close to your nose as possible. Now here's the deal. You should not be getting any pain in the back of your knee. So if you have pain in the back of your knee, that's all ligaments. You can't really stretch ligaments. Bend your knee and pull your knee closer to your body, all right? So if this is as high as you can go because that hamstring's so tight, that's okay. So I want you to take it there, and we're going to hold it for about 30 seconds. We're doing a lot of static hold today, a lot of static stretches. Should be a nice stretch in that hamstring. Should feel really good. Again, if it's painful, back off a little bit, because stretching should not be painful. All right. So here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so now keeping that same leg in the air, that right toe is going to cross over the body just slightly so that the toe is in line with the left shoulder. You're going to feel this stretch in the outer part of your hamstring. So it's the outside part of the hamstring where you should feel this. Again, no pain in the back of your knee. This short head of that hamstring can cause a lot of pain through the lower back. It can also cause knee pain if it's tight. So this stretch is extremely important to do. And it's pretty simple. Again, stretching should feel good. So please don't hurt yourself. Awesome. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so now what you're going to do, take that right foot across the body to a 4 or 5 o'clock position on a clock, or 7 or 8 o'clock, depending on which way your clock is going. And you're just going to let your leg hover. So this is going to be maybe outer hip. It could be lower back stretch here. Could be some more of the outside of that hamstring. Trying to keep both shoulders on the floor. And this band should be aiding so that you're not working really hard. You should just be able to relax that leg so that you get a nice stretch, either outer hip, lower back. It could be into the shoulder, could be your lat maybe. The point is, it should feel good. And you shouldn't be working crazy hard here. Stretching is relaxing. So if you feel like you're getting a hard workout, then don't resist, just relax into it. Okay, perfect. Now, to make this easy, you're going to grab the band. It's still on your right foot. Grab the band with your right hand, and we're going to just roll onto your left side, bringing your leg behind you for a quad stretch. You can lay on your side, or you can end up rolling all the way onto your stomach and stretching that way as well. But you're going to be getting a nice quad stretch here. So front of the leg is where you should be feeling it. Please don't try to fight it. So if you're really fighting it, release a little bit on that band, because you don't want your quad shaking or your leg shaking a lot, because that means the muscle's trying to tense up. So if you're a person who doesn't know how to relax, then today might be a big challenge for you. But hopefully it feels good. And hopefully with the aid of the band, your hamstring isn't Charlie horsing. It should just be a nice stretch in the front of the leg. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So we'll relax that. Perfect. We're going to come back on your back and we get to do the other leg. So we'll move into that left side. So band goes over the bottom of the foot. Okay. If you need to bend that right knee in order and place that right foot on the floor so it's less pain, you can. If you can do it with your right leg straight, even better. Again, should not be any pain behind the knee. This is all the hamstring stretching. Okay, so keeping that left toe in line with the left shoulder and trying to get that knee as close to your nose as possible without pain. Should just be a really nice stretch. So there's something I want you to keep in mind as we're going through this today. If there is, you notice something that's really tight, and if you have time in the evening, like while you're watching TV, or maybe you're listening to a podcast or something like that, just break out your band and do that stretch for a little bit. Keep in mind, oh, wow, that was tight. I need to redo that stretch every day. Start loosening up. Okay, now we're going to take that toe across the body so it's in line with the right shoulder, and it should have moved the stretch to the outside part of your hamstring. Again, no knee pain. If you feel it, slight bend and pull more. The other thing I want to share with you is just success stories with my clients. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to relax that band or that foot so that it's a 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock position. We're just letting it hover. If you don't feel anything in the 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock, then pull it up to a 4 o'clock, or let it drop, or at 4 o'clock or an 8 o'clock, so that you're getting a nice stretch either in the outer hip, maybe lower back, trying to keep those shoulders flat on the floor. With my clients who have consistently stretched, they've been able to see, meaning stretching even 5 minutes every day, they've been able to see a significant improvement in the mobility of the muscles that they're stretching. So it doesn't take much time to see a big improvement. So if that's some encouragement for you to keep stretching. Perfect. Okay, so now grab that the band, sorry, with your left hand. We're going to just roll onto the right side for that quad stretch. Bring in that band over your shoulder. You can either lay on your side and stretch, or you can just roll to your stomach and stretch. But we're trying to stretch that quad, front of the leg. And if your band is falling off and it doesn't stay on your foot and it rolls up to your shin, it's okay if you just want to grab your shoe and stretch your quad with your hand on your shoe, or you want to grab the front of your foot, that's fine. You don't have to use a band, because sometimes the bands roll off and then it becomes awkward. But please, your quad should not be flailing in the wind. You want to be nice and solid. So if you need to roll onto your stomach to keep that quad solid, please do. We're not trying to resist. Like, the quad should not be working while you're in a stretch. So that quad should be totally relaxed. Perfect. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, go ahead. Relax that band. I'm going to roll onto your back again. So sometimes this next one can be like, you want me to do what? So let's just do this first, all right? We're going to cross the right ankle over your left knee. This might be a really good stretch for you right here. If it's not, that's okay. We'll get it. So what I want you to do is drop, let's see, let me switch here so you guys can see. So drop your right hip just a little. So you're going to push that left hip up, drop your right hip just a little, and then push your right knee away from you. So you can push at the knee, you can push at the inner thigh, but what you're trying to feel is a really good stretch in that outer hip area. So that TFL area. I'm gonna close some blinds here really fast so that the sun's not casting a weird shadow. And this is important to stretch on this because it's can cause runner's knee. So if you have knee pain when you run, especially around the kneecap area or below the kneecap area, then that's a good indication that this muscle is really tight. You need to keep stretching. All right, here's 4, 3, 2. We're going to come back to center with those hips. So those hips should be parallel to the floor, parallel to the sky. Now, if you want to use the band, it becomes awkward, so I'm not going to show it to you yet. I'll show you how to use it, but all I want you to do is reach between your legs, grab your left leg behind at the hamstring, and then pull your left leg to your chest. So if that is super painful to go very far, it's okay. I don't want you to be straining. What you're stretching right now is into that gluteus muscle. If you would like to use the band, because that's really hard to do, to get very much of a stretch without straining all your other muscles, take your band, put it on your right foot. Oh, wait. Your left foot. Put on your left foot, then cross that right ankle over again, and then you can pull the band, and it might be a little easier for you. Sometimes it makes it more awkward. So I'll leave it up to you, whatever you're most comfortable with. All right. But we're going to just hold that there for another 5, 4, 3, 2. Now what I want you to do is just shift your weight a little bit, like rock those hips back and forth from the right to the left. And if you feel some other tightness through those glutes, you're like, ooh, hey, there's a spot. Hang out there. Because we're trying to loosen up the glutes. And if you are not feeling a stretch at all anywhere through this, then you need to do some glute exercises. Because the glutes are super important for runners and walkers and just living life. So here's 3, 2, and 1. Good. Relax that down. We get to switch legs. We're going to cross left over right now. And what you're going to do, drop that left hip, push that right hip to the sky, and then push on your left knee. Push it away from you. And you should get a nice little TFL stretch if it's tight. Should feel good. You might feel it even through the lower back because the TFL connects into the SI joint. So that's all that lower back area. So if you have lower back pain, this is a really good stretch to do. If you have runner's knee, this is a good stretch to do. This is a really good one. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to come back to center. Hips parallel to the ceiling. Hips nice and square. And then we're going to do it again. So reach between your legs, grab your hamstring, pull that leg towards you. If you want to use the band, then you'll just put, did I tell you guys to do it wrong the last time? I may have. I think I did. So you want to put it, okay, so if you're using the band, put it around your left foot and pull. No, I did tell you. I did tell you right. So put it around your right foot and pull it. I did tell you correctly. Oh my goodness. Hopefully you're getting a stretch. That's the goal. A stretch in your glute. Awesome. I saw a thumbs up. Great. Somebody's getting a stretch. Okay, so now what I want you to do, shift that weight, your hips from left to right, and feel for some tightness that you might have there. So if you feel something and you're like, wow, that's a really tight muscle there, just hang out because you have 3 different quad or glute muscles there. So if you shift your weight, it'll move it into the glute medius and minimus. And glutes help support the lower back, but they also can cause lower back strain if they're overly tight. So it's always good to stretch those glutes. Perfect. Awesome. 3, 2, and 1. All right. All right. Question for you. Just give me a thumbs up. Raise it so I can see a thumb. Do you guys have major inner thigh tightness? How are your inner thighs? If they're really tight, give me a thumbs up because we're going to spend some time there. Okay. Yep. Awesome. I see thumbs up. All right. So I'm going to do a couple of different options. Grabbing that band. It's going to go on the left foot, extending your right leg flat on the floor. This is going to probably feel a little weird, but hopefully you feel that inner thigh working or stretching. So you're going to let that left leg fall to the floor, and then you're going to bring it out to the side. So you can see the bottom of my left foot here. Do a little side angle. So hopefully your left leg is relaxed. You're not trying to lift your left leg, but you're getting a really nice inner thigh stretch there. Relax that glute. Try to keep those hips flat, square to the floor, shoulders on the floor. If your inner thighs are not that tight, this stretch probably won't work for you, but we'll get it in a different way. So here's 5, 4, 3, 2. It should not be causing cramping in your hips. So if you felt that through your lower back, bring it back to center. If you felt it in your lower back or in your hip, then we need to raise your leg a little bit more and lift higher with that leg. So let's try the right side. Switching feet there. Let that leg fall to the floor or close to it, not about an inch or 2 above the floor. And then we're just going to take it out to the right. So again, if you're feeling this in your hip, if you're feeling it through your lower back, then just lift your leg a little bit. And meaning you'll have to grab closer to the foot if you can. I have clients who love this one, and I have clients who hate this one. So we'll do a couple other inner thigh just to make sure we got them. But I'm showing this to you in case you do enjoy it. You can to do it while you're listening to your podcast. All right, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing that back to center. Before we go anywhere else, I just want you to bring those knees to your chest and hug those knees, and then rock back and forth to stretch out through that lower back a little bit. Should feel good. Awesome. All right. Now we're going to go to a seated position. Actually, wait, before we go there, I just want you guys to check and see. Plant those feet. Knees should be bent. It doesn't matter if, well, it does. You want your feet a little bit closer to your glutes. Like scoot those heels towards your glutes till your middle finger touches your heel. All right. Bring those feet together so those knees are touching. And then slowly let your hands are going to be out in a T from your shoulders, palms down, and then just let those knees fall to the left, trying to keep both shoulders on the floor. So this is going to be a big lower back stretch or through the chest. If you're tight, like some people have a really hard time getting those knees all the way to the floor. So if you are having that challenge, then I suggest you really work on stretching through your glutes and your quads. All right, so that's a good indicator for you. If you can't get your knees to the floor, well, then you need to do all those stretches we just did. Coming back to center, and then we'll go to the other side. You might find that one side is much more mobile, has a lot more mobility than the other side. And that's normal. So it's okay. It just means you need to work a little bit more on stretching one side. It could be your more dominant side that's tighter. So here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Coming back to center. Excellent. So use a leg, help you go into a seated position. We're going to work on some inner thighs here, because those inner thighs are crucial to lower back stability, as well as hip flexor and quad. Inner thighs are pretty big to a lot of things. So I want you to take those legs wide. We're going to do a V-sit, one of those easy things, and you'll just go down as low as you can. Like if you're super mobile and you can put your forehead to the floor, then I am giving you a high five right now because you're amazing. No, Doug. Okay. So if this is as much as you can do and you're like, oh my goodness, my inner thighs, it's okay. That's okay. What I want you to do is do this every day. And if you can hold it, even just 30 seconds, and keep pushing a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more every day. You do that in combination with stretching your hamstrings, you will see a significant difference. All right. So 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now what I want you to do is a butterfly stretch. So bring the bottom of those feet together, sitting as tall as you can. So what I see a lot when people do this stretch is they'll have to like hunch even just to get their feet together. So if you can't sit tall, then I want you to lean against a chair or a couch or something so that you can sit tall, or come back and brace your arms behind you, because sitting tall is way more important than trying to like get really close here. All right. So sitting tall. Now, once you're sitting tall and you're relaxed, because these have to be relaxed. You don't want them trying to come up here. You want to keep them relaxed. Bring them as close as you can to your hips. All right. So you want to this is going to get a lot of upper inner thigh. All right. And that's because you have 6 different muscles that run through here. So the V-sit will most likely get the lower half. The butterfly gets the upper half. All right. So that's why this is super important to do here. Okay, good. Sitting tall. So now what we're going to do, 4, 3, 2, we'll see how this works. So ideally, you'll just slide those feet away from you, and it's okay to round now. You're going to grab your feet and then just pull your forehead to your heels. So this is going to be, your feet are going to be pretty far away from you, and this is going to be an amazing stretch either through your lower back, your outer hips. If this is painful, then work into it. So, you don't have to lean so far forward. You don't have to fall forward. You can just go right here, if wherever you feel the stretch. All right. So the idea is to get outer hips, maybe lower back. If you feel it in your ankles, then we need to work on some ankle mobility. But here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we got to get a little bit more lower back. We're going to go back to kindergarten. Hey! So, crisscross applesauce. Hopefully this doesn't, if you have had knee replacements, obviously some of these stretches are not going to work for you, and that's okay. That's okay. But if you haven't, crisscross applesauce, and I just want you to lean forward, drop your chin to your chest, and hang out there. Enjoy the stretch. So this is going to be a nice stretch along the erector spinae, so all the muscles down your spine, all from the top of the skull all the way down your spine. It's also going to be some lower back and a different part of that hip. So if it hurts like the muscles along your spine, it's okay to put your hands, like rest your head in your hands, because again, stretching should not be painful. All right, it just should feel good, should feel relaxing. And now we get to switch again. So switch those legs. So if you were here, we're going to switch here. We're going to do it again. A lot of times you may not feel something when you're doing one stretch, but when you switch those legs, you're like, whoa, hey, good morning, glutes. Good morning, lower back. So again, drop that chin to your chest and just relax into it a little bit. Good job, guys. Hopefully you're feeling like Gumby. You guys know who Gumby is? But okay, Doug does. Awesome. Barb does. I tell my kids and they're like, who's Gumby, Mom? Perfect. We're going to come out of that. Excellent. We're working a lot through the lower body today. There are some upper body stretches we can do. Maybe we should just do this a lower body and then upper body next time. But what we're going to do now, you're going to cross your right leg over your left, sitting nice and tall. So right over left. Now we're going to twist to the right. Plant that hand if you can. Keep that back tall, because the tendency is to like hunch. Don't hunch. You want to keep that back nice and tall. It's okay to support with that left hand. So what you should be feeling, whatever you could be feeling tight, stretch through that right glute, maybe right lower back. It could also be your left lat, or maybe through the upper shoulder area. Sitting nice and tall here. This is a really good stretch if you have lower back tightness. Helps release some of the muscles that can cause lower back tightness there. Okay, don't move your feet. Keep your feet where they are. You're just going to twist now to the left. Okay, and plant those hands. Let that right knee fall away from you. If you want to go to your forearms, you can. And this is going to be a huge stretch through the middle back on your right side. So if you want to stay here and just let that knee fall away, totally fine. If you can go to your elbows, that's great too. Here's 4, 3, again, shouldn't cause pain. Perfect. All right, we're going to come back to a seated position. And we're going to do the other side. So crossing the left leg over the right, twist to the left, staying nice and tall. You might feel stretch in that glute. It might be the left side on your back, upper back. Just sit nice and tall. Please don't hunch. Really keep that spine nice and tall. And I should have said, I hope you're all breathing through these exercises. No, you're not breathing, Doug. Okay, I can't tell. Some of you are on the floor. I can't tell if you're there or not. Oh boy. 4, 3, 2, good. And now keep that left leg crossed. But now you're just going to switch over to the right side. If you want to plant those hands, let that left knee fall away. If you can go to your forearms, great. But try to keep your legs completely relaxed. You might notice one side tighter than the other, and that's totally normal. Good. You might feel it, lower back. You might be middle back. So here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay. I do have a question for you. Give me a thumbs up if you were unable, like if this butterfly was a big challenge for you and you didn't really feel your upper inner thigh stretch very well because you were fighting it so hard. Give me a thumbs up if that was the case, and I'll show you a different one. Or you guys are okay. Okay, good. You guys got it. Perfect. Then we won't need to go there. So what I want you to do, we're going to flip over. We're going to lay on your stomach. Going to get a nice Erectus abdominis stretch. So those abs stretch. So what you're going to do, elbows are going to be directly underneath your shoulders. Try to keep that lower back as relaxed as possible. All right. And all you're going to do is push through your shoulders and look up at the sky or your ceiling because we're all in the house. If you do not feel an ab stretch here, dig those elbows in. Don't move your elbows, but pull them towards your hips while you're looking up. And it should be a deeper stretch for you. If this causes pain in your neck, then don't look up. Just look forward. So should not be pain anywhere. Should just feel like a really nice stretch through those abs. Perfect. And we're going to relax down. Hands are going to be to the outside of your chest. And all you're going to do is push through into a child's pose. I'm moving my knees. You can either move your knees to you or you can just push your body back over your knees. So now we're in a child's pose here. Head relaxed on the floor. And the goal is to get your glute to sit on your heel. So if you cannot get that glute to your heel, that means that your quads are way too tight and you need to work on those quad stretches that we did. But if you're sitting on your heels, good job. Now what I want you to do, take a nice deep breath in and walk those fingertips as far above your head as you can. This will be a nice big stretch through those shoulder blades. Exhale. I'm going to do one more inhale. Really big stretch through those shoulder blades, across the middle back there. Exhale. Good. We're going to walk those fingertips over to the right. So just walking your fingertips to the right. This will be a nice stretch, like maybe on the left side, outer hip area, maybe left lat. Here's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walking those fingertips back to the center and then keep walking over to the left. And you'll feel this down your right side if it's tight, maybe through the right lower back. But just relaxing into it. You're not trying to hold yourself up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walking those fingertips back to center. All right, from this position, Hopefully everybody's still comfortable here. This should be a nice relaxing stretch for you in this position. But what you're going to do, reach that right arm as high above you as you can. Bend your elbow, grab your head with your right hand, and then just gently shift your weight to the right. And this is going to be a nice stretch through the teres major and minor shoulder area muscles. It could be through your tricep if your tricep is tight. So it should feel good. You don't want to push so hard that it causes pain, but just relaxing into that. There's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Extend that right arm. Then we're going to switch to the left. So extend that left arm as high above you as you can. Bend that left elbow, grab your head with your left hand, and then just shift your weight to the left. You might notice one side tighter than the other, meaning one side feels it a lot and one side doesn't at all, and that's okay. Don't try to push it until you feel it. If you don't feel it, it's okay. Here's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So I think we do have time for one here. A couple more upper body. So we're going to lay all the way down on your stomach. We're going to do thread the needle. So I'm going to switch this way so you guys can see. All you're going to do is take your right hand, thread it underneath your body, palm facing up, and then just relax that down. So this is going to be a huge stretch through the outer part of that shoulder. Should feel good. If you've had a shoulder surgery, it may not feel great, but it should be okay because it's not this motion that usually causes the pain. It's rotational and external rotation that causes pain. So hopefully this feels good. There's 4. Again, fingertips, palm facing up. 3, 2, and 1. And then bring that back through. And we're going to switch sides. Extend that right arm overhead. Then thread that left hand under. Palm facing up. And go ahead and relax that down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. Okay. Now here's one. I do this with my clients who are extremely inflexible and it still works. So you should be okay. But what you're going to do, extend your right or your left arm out to the side of you, palm facing down. And put your right hand right next to your right pec. And you're going to push through your right hand, bringing your right leg over, and then plant it on the floor if you can behind you. If you can't plant it and you just need to like have it bent a little bit, like here, that's okay. Because what you're actually trying to stretch is through the frontal deltoid and the pectoralis on that left side. So if you can plant your foot, great. Relax your head all the way down. If this is painful, please come out of it and just don't do it. But this is a really good stretch for, I mean, you may even feel inner thigh. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rolling out of that. We're going to extend your right arm. Plant your left pec or left hand right next to your pec. Palm facing down on that right arm. Push through the left hand. Bring the left leg over the right. Maybe even a good lower back stretch here. Again, if it causes pain, please don't do it. You're not trying to resist this, just settle into it. Taking a couple of nice deep breaths in. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come back to center. Perfect. We're going to go into a child's pose one more time. So pushing those heels back over your hips back over your heels. There's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so now you can either stay in a kneeling position or we can push into a standing position. Since we're all on the floor, I'm just going to stay kneeling. And what you're going to do, just a little bit for your upper back, you're going to clasp your hands in front of you, round it so that your palms are facing out. And now what you're going to do is round those shoulders, really try to push your palms far away from you. And then you're going to twist, bring that right shoulder up. It's going to be a nice stretch underneath your shoulder blade, maybe even through your lat. I'm going to twist, raising that through the shoulder. Should feel really good underneath that left shoulder blade. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, good. One more. Grabbing behind your back, interlacing your fingers, and then just pull down, pull those hands down. It'll be a nice shoulder stretch here as well as pec. Different in a different way. If you want to lift those arms a little bit, you can, but you don't have to. You can just keep those hands right by your hips. And you're done with that one. Let's take a deep breath in. So deep breath. Reach those fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale. We're going to do it one more time. Reach. Exhale. And you're done.